Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be pretty exciting. We're
Mhm.
going to be taking a look at the world of trading,
Okay.
but we're not going to be, looking at, like the textbook way to do things or anything like that. We're actually going to be
Mhm.
looking at someone's personal journey after taking this course called Front Office Pro Series, Trade Floor Business Analysis, and it's really a story
Interesting.
about how someone can go from being a rookie to a more informed trader.
I think what's so interesting about this particular story and this individual is just how open they are about their mistakes and,
Right.
their aha moments. And it's a great reminder that even those of us that have been in the industry for, a long time,
Yeah.
we all start somewhere. And those early lessons can often be the most valuable.
Absolutely. And, our subject actually came from a non-finance background. So
Hmm.
they were intrigued by the stock market.
Okay.
But, they went in without a structured approach. And so imagine making trading decisions
Yeah.
based on like rumors, little snippets of news that you hear here and there.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what they did, especially during the tech bubble.
Yeah. You see that a lot where people kind of get, attracted to the idea of making a quick profit and they go in without really a strong foundation. It's like trying to build a house on sand.
Right. And unfortunately, that house crumbled for them during the tech bubble burst.
Right.
But instead of just, walking away, they actually decided to double down this time on knowledge by taking this course.
Okay.
And that's where they discover the power of trade flow analysis. So picture this.
Right.
You're placing a trade, but there's this whole system
Hmm.
operating behind the scenes that can impact the price that you actually end up getting.
Yeah. It's kind of like the difference between sending a letter by carrier pigeon and sending an email.
Right.
You know, both methods get the message across, but the speed and the efficiency are worlds apart.
Exactly.
There's network latencies, processing times, all these seemingly small factors that can actually have a huge impact on your outcomes.
Huge impact. And our subject actually learned this the hard way
Oh,
because they experienced delayed trade executions, which led to some losses. But that pain actually became a catalyst for
okay.
understanding. And they started to dig deeper into risk management. And I'm not just talking about basic diversification.
Yeah.
They discovered all these different types of stop-loss orders, which are basically tools that can act like guardrails for your investments.
Yeah, and there's, a basic stop loss order. It's kind of like a safety net, right? You set a price, and if the stock drops below that, it automatically sells.
Right.
But then you've got more sophisticated types like trailing stops that actually adjust as the stock price moves.
Yeah.
So you can actually lock in profits while still giving your investment some breathing room.
That's great. So instead of just reacting emotionally to all the swings in the market, they now have these strategic tools to use.
Right.
It's like having a plan instead of just, trying to wing it.
Yeah.
Now, they also encountered a situation that really highlighted the importance of liquidity, which is something that a lot of new traders overlook.
Okay.
So imagine trying to sell like a rare antique, but you're in a hurry.
Mm,
You might have to lower the price significantly in order to find a buyer quickly.
right.
And that's essentially what happened to them. They tried to sell this stock that wasn't very liquid, and they couldn't get the price they wanted.
Yeah, liquidity is so important. It's just the ease with which you can buy or sell an asset,
Right.
a stock that has high trading volume and a narrow bid-ask spread, which is the difference between the buying and selling price that's like that hot new smartphone that everybody wants.
Exactly.
It's easy to find a buyer at a good price.
Exactly. So they started to analyze those factors, like the volume and the bid-ask spread, before entering any trade.
Smart.
But here's the part that I think is really interesting. It's their experience with client relationships. They went through this phase where they were just focused on executing the
Mm.
trades, almost forgetting about the actual people, behind those transactions.
It's easy to get caught up in the technical stuff,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, trading often involves managing other people's money and their hopes and dreams.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And they actually shared a story of making trades without really considering their clients' long-term goals and their risk tolerance, and that led to some unhappy outcomes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a powerful reminder that building those strong client relationships is just as crucial as understand all the technical stuff or even managing risk.
Right.
And our subject realized that taking the time to understand their clients' individual needs and what they were hoping to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just good ethics, it was actually good business.
I like that. It makes sense. It's all connected.
It really is. And that's where you see them really transform from just a trader, who's focused on making transactions to a trusted advisor who's
Right.
building those long-term partnerships.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a very important distinction. So they had embraced, trade flow analysis. They had learned about all these sophisticated risk management tools.
Right.
They understood the importance of liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
And then came another market correction,
Yeah,
which always tests a trader's mettle.
it does.
And if you remember, they used to panic and sell at a loss.
Yeah.
But this time, something was different.
Oh.
Because armed with the knowledge from this course, they didn't just react. They took a step back. They analyzed those broader market trends.
Okay.
And they sought to understand, what was really driving all this volatility. And that allowed them to make much more informed decisions.
Interesting.
So they were kind of riding the waves instead of being swept away.
Yeah.
And it's a great example of how knowledge can really empower you to stay calm and make those rational decisions, even when the market feels like it's on a roller coaster.
Absolutely.
So we've seen them go from, making those rookie mistakes to really mastering these core concepts. But their journey isn't over. There's actually another layer to their evolution that we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm intrigued. What else did they learn?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It gets really interesting. So we'll dive into that in the next part.
Looking forward to it. It's really impressive to see how this person took what they learned and actually transformed their approach to trading. But now let's shift gears a bit and talk about you.
Okay.
Because, it's one thing to hear about someone else's success.
Right.
But the real magic happens when we can apply these lessons to our own trading journeys.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
So let's start with trade flow analysis.
Okay.
You remember that intricate machinery we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's not just some theoretical concept.
Right.
It actually has real-world implications for every single trade that you make.
I mean, think about the speed at which information travels through the market.
Oh, yeah.
Milliseconds can make the difference between a profitable trade and a missed opportunity, especially with all these, high-frequency trading algorithms and things like that.
Yeah, professional traders, they use these really sophisticated tools and platforms to analyze order flow and identify patterns and anticipate, market movements.
Right.
So the question is, are you equipped to keep up with that pace?
A good question.
Do your tools give you the insights that you need to make the split-second decisions?
Yeah, it's like trying to navigate a busy city with a really old map.
Right.
You might eventually find your way,
Yeah.
but you're probably going to miss a lot of the shortcuts.
Exactly. You'll miss those hidden gems.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about your personal safety net.
Okay.
Risk management.
Yeah.
Have you taken the time to honestly assess your risk tolerance?
That's a good point.
How much are you willing to lose on any given trade before you say, okay, that's enough?
Yeah. It's not always a fun conversation to have with yourself,
No.
but it's absolutely essential. Because if you can set those boundaries up front, it really takes the emotion out of it, and you can make those more rational decisions.
Exactly. And those stop-loss orders we were talking about earlier, those
Yeah.
can be your best friend in this regard.
For sure.
You can think of them as automated guardrails that are protecting you from catastrophic losses.
Right.
Like a trailing stop, for example. It moves with the stock price.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually lock in some profits while still letting that trade run.
And it takes the guesswork out of, when do I sell?
Totally.
Because there's always that emotional pull,
Oh, yeah, that tug of war.
or the market's swinging.
Big time.
Absolutely.
Now let's dive into liquidity.
Okay.
Before you even enter a trade, do you check things like the average trading volume
Mm-hmm.
or the bid-ask spread?
Good point.
If you're not, you might be setting yourself up for a difficult situation.
Yeah, it's like trying to sell a house in a neighborhood that's not doing so well.
Right.
You might have a great property, but finding a buyer at the price you want,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's going to be tough.
It's going to be a challenge. And, liquidity can change so rapidly based on market sentiment,
Right.
news events, all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
So staying informed and being able to assess the liquidity of an asset before you jump in, that's crucial.
Really important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about some of these more technical aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's kind of shift our focus to the human side of trading,
Okay.
like client relationships.
Right.
If you are managing investments for other people, are you really listening to their needs, and are you tailoring your strategies accordingly?
Yeah, this is where the art of communication really comes in.
Absolutely.
Are you having those open and honest conversations with your clients
Mm-hmm.
about their risk tolerance, their time horizon, and ultimately what they want to achieve with their investments?
It's so important. And remember, building that trust is paramount.
It is.
It's not just about generating returns. It's about making your clients feel understood and confident in your abilities.
Yeah, you've got to have regular communication transparency about your strategies,
Right.
clear explanations of, the wins and the losses.
Mm-hmm.
These are all key ingredients in building those strong, lasting relationships.
Couldn't agree more.
Mhm.
Okay, so now let's tackle something that's inevitable in the market.
Okay.
Volatility.
Oh, yeah. That's the one constant, right?
It's a fact of life in the trading world.
Absolutely.
But the question is, how do you respond?
Yeah.
Do you freeze up and make impulsive decisions, or do you have a plan
Mm-hmm.
for navigating those turbulent waters?
Right.
And if you think back to our subject's journey, they went from that panic selling
Right.
to actually analyzing broader market trends,
Yeah.
understanding what was driving that volatility,
Mm-hmm.
and making much more informed decisions based on data, not fear.
So it's about shifting from a reactive mindset to a proactive one.
Exactly.
Instead of getting tossed around by the waves, you learn to ride them.
I like that analogy.
So how do you stay ahead of the curve in this constantly changing landscape?
Right.
How do you keep learning and evolving as a trader?
Well, it's a constant process
Yeah.
of education and adaptation.
Mhm.
I mean, the financial markets, they're like this living, breathing organism
Right.
that's constantly changing and evolving.
But you've got to stay on top of it.
You do.
Yeah.
And there's lots of ways to do that.
Yeah.
Attending industry conferences, reading books and articles,
Mhm.
following, reputable financial news sources,
Yeah.
and even, listen to insightful podcasts
Like this one, Winks.
like this one.
Thanks.
Get that plug in.
But knowledge really is your most powerful asset
Oh, absolutely.
in the trading world.
Couldn't agree more.
The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to make sound decisions, manage risk effectively, and ultimately achieve your financial goals.
And there's another crucial element that often gets overlooked.
Oh, okay, what's that?
The psychological aspect of trading.
Our subject, they learn to manage their emotions, they learn to control their impulses, and really develop this disciplined approach.
It's so important because, fear and greed drive a lot of really bad decisions
Oh, yeah,
in the market.
absolutely.
So learning to recognize those emotions
Yeah.
and then make rational choices based on your analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Your risk management plan is key.
Yeah, it's like training for a marathon.
Okay.
You don't just show up on race day and expect to win.
Right.
You've got to put in the work. You've got to build that endurance and develop the mental toughness to overcome the obstacles along the way.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
And, I think in trading, it's also helpful to have a support system,
Oh, yeah,
a network of mentors or other traders that you can talk to,
absolutely.
even friends and family who can provide encouragement and perspective.
Because trading can be a solitary endeavor.
Can be,
Mhm.
especially if you're working from home.
Yeah. Yeah. So having those people that you can bounce ideas off of, share challenges with, celebrate victories with it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like having a hiking buddy on a challenging trail.
I like that.
You motivate each other, you share the load, and then you celebrate reaching that summit together.
Totally. So another valuable strategy is to focus on the process, not just the outcome.
Okay.
If you're constantly fixated on making money,
Right.
you're likely going to make impulsive decisions driven by fear or greed.
That makes sense.
So instead, shift your attention to developing your skills, refining your strategies, and constantly learning from your experiences.
So think of it like a master craftsman honing their craft.
Okay.
They take pride in their work, they strive for excellence, and they derive satisfaction from the process itself, not just the finished product.
I love that. And remember taking care of yourself physically and mentally.
Yeah.
That's crucial.
So important.
Trading can be incredibly stressful.
It can.
So make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthy, exercising regularly, and taking breaks when you need them.
It's like they say you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Take care of yourself first, and you'll be in a much better position to handle those challenges that the market throws at you.
Couldn't agree more.
So we've talked about a lot in this deep dive.
Yeah. We have.
Everything from trade flow analysis and risk management
Right.
to even the, importance of building good relationships with your clients.
Yeah. It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Yeah.
But there's one final piece of the puzzle that we really need to explore.
Okay.
And it's something that's often overlooked. The psychological aspect of trading.
Oh, yeah. It's so fascinating how our emotions can really influence our decisions,
They really can.
especially when it comes to money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fear and greed, they can cloud our judgment
Yeah,
and lead us down the wrong path.
absolutely. And remember how our subject used to panic and sell at a loss during those market corrections?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they learned to actually recognize those emotional triggers
Okay.
and develop strategies to stay calm and make those rational decisions, even when everything felt really volatile.
Yeah, it's like learning to tame a wild horse.
Okay.
You need to understand its nature, you need to anticipate its movements,
Right.
and you need to develop the skills to control it.
So how do we cultivate that kind of mental resilience?
Well, one key is to develop a really clear trading plan
Okay.
and stick to it.
Yeah.
Don't let your emotions dictate your actions.
Right.
You've got to base your decisions on your analysis, your risk tolerance, and your predetermined strategy.
That makes sense. Another important aspect, I think, is managing expectations.
Oh, that's huge.
Because the market doesn't always go up.
It doesn't.
There are going to be periods of, losses and drawdowns, setbacks.
Absolutely.
Accepting that reality and learning to view those losses as just part of the process, I think, is really crucial.
It is. It's like a baseball player stepping up to the plate.
Okay.
They know they're not going to hit a home run every single time,
Right.
but they focus on their technique, their training, and their long-term goals.
Those are great points.
Yeah.
And, I also think don't underestimate the power of having a support system,
Oh, yeah.
a network of mentors,
Yeah.
fellow traders, maybe even friends and family who can offer encouragement
Absolutely.
and perspective.
Because trading can be a very solitary endeavor,
It can.
especially if you're working from home all the time.
Yeah. So having those people that you can bounce ideas off of, share your challenges with,
Yeah.
celebrate victories with it can make a world of
It's
difference.
huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having a hiking buddy on a challenging trail.
Okay.
You motivate each other, you share the load,
Right.
and you celebrate together when you reach that summit.
I like that.
Yeah.
Another really valuable strategy, I think, is to focus on the process,
Okay.
not just the outcome.
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly fixated on just making money,
Right.
you're probably going to make those impulsive decisions driven by fear or greed.
Exactly.
So instead, shift your attention to developing your skills, refining your strategies, and constantly learning
Right.
from your
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, think of it like a master craftsman
Okay.
honing their craft. They take pride in their work,
Right.
they strive for excellence, and they derive satisfaction from the process itself,
Yeah.
not just the finished product.
That's a great point. And remember, taking care of yourself physically and mentally is so important.
Oh, it's essential.
Trading can be stressful.
Absolutely.
So make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthy, exercising regularly, and taking breaks when you need them.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
You've got to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in a much better place to handle those challenges.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to remember that becoming a successful trader,
Yeah.
it's about more than just the technical skills.
It is.
It's about developing that winning mindset,
Right.
cultivating that emotional resilience, and embracing this journey of continuous learning.
It's a lifelong pursuit.
It is.
Yeah.
And, we've shared a lot of insights and strategies and real-world examples
Yeah, we have.
to hopefully empower you on your trading journey.
Absolutely.
Now it's up to you to take what you've learned
Yeah.
and create your own success story.
The financial markets are vast and dynamic.
They are.
So embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
Never stop learning. And always remember to enjoy the ride.
That's great advice. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive, but
Yeah.
this is just the beginning
Oh.
of your exploration.
Absolutely.
And, armed with the knowledge and insights that we've shared, you are ready to navigate the markets with confidence
You are.
and create a trading journey that's both profitable
Yeah.
and personally fulfilling.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, everyone. Happy trading.